Hello, hello, hello. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. It is certainly the afternoon. It is about 4:52, and I am just... I'm just checking my iPad and just turning on the camera and talking to my friends and my fans and all of that stuff. Look, I don't know. I have the day off, but I'm getting ready to go to Newport, Rhode Island to make a new work for IMC Island Moving Company. I've never been there and everything, and I am racking my brain with just stimulated elements with the music and the like so-called concept or lack of concept or whatever, you know. I am going I'm totally about going with the flow. So I'm just simply turning on the camera here and I'm going to tell you about my creation. My creation is going to be about 15 minutes long, and I really am letting my creative juices flow in my head, which are jumping from here to there to up to there to, there's all kinds of things like arising and falling, and me thinking about creation, which I love so much. I love to create ballets, or I'd say dances. So like, you can't really label my work in a way, because my work is so, I never know really what I'm going to do, because at the moment I am simply just letting the ideas rise and fall and listening to this music. I'm working with a composer named Damian Simon, and I don't know Damian Simon, but he came into my existence. Now, as I go with the flow, you know, I am a person, I don't care about my reputation. I don't care about anything but creating, which I love. Is my passion, and I'm going with the flow. And you know, nowadays as I create, I'm more and more into the idea of like channeling my work. So I have things come into play and ideas come into play. Like a few weeks ago, there was a composer who contacted me, and I have the luxury of composers contacting me sometimes because I have a reputation. I don't really know why necessarily, except that I make dance work and I'm known in the profession. And he contacted me about maybe collaborating, and I didn't really have time so much to listen to his music, so he went away and he came back. And to make a long story short, he appeared, and I chose him just simply because he was quite consistent with contacting me, and I didn't really know very much. I had heard some things, I liked some things, I didn't like some things, like my own work, you know, like people don't like, and all that kind of thing. So that's how I made the decision about who I would choose as a composer. But I had the luxury, actually, because this company in Newport hired him to do this for me. So that's really nice, and that I love that comes into play, and that there was an opportunity, and an opportunity came, and so I was able to provide him an opportunity. So that first and foremost is really one of the best things about collaborating, is providing, because the universe provides me a composer, and it drops, and he's there, and I allow to go with that flow and provide an opportunity for him. And he's given me some music, and some music I had to decide because it's going to be played live. And what is it about creation? Creation is so unique. Like, you can arrive at a work by being conceptual about the work, or it can be abstract work, abstract movement. I work a lot with improvisation and spontaneous ideas, and I have experimental workshops with like allowing my mind or allowing my creativity to come through me. And some of my best works are created like that. I have all kinds of ways of approaching, but predominantly I am stimulated by, I don't know, like by people, or by the work, by the music, or by, you know, what is going on in the atmosphere in the studio. So I basically am like a clean slate, I guess you could say. Could you really say that? I don't know, because ideas come to my mind, and some of them maybe I would write down, and some of them like swim around and either like stay there or they kind of go away. So but what I realize is that, you know, I'm saying more and more out loud, is that by approaching my work this way, or creating this way, and being outspoken about that, is kind of scary, because people, you know, they expect certain things from you and they want certain things from you. And I have a lot of experience in the studio, I have a lot of experience with people, I have a lot of experience teaching and creating, and I've created a lot of work. I've created about 60-70 works, I think, give or take, to all kinds of different kinds of people, to like the elite ballet dancers, and to amateurs, even so, in schools. And so I've had a lot of opportunity to create. Now I just create because I feel the passion to do that, and sometimes I guess some of my works don't make sense to people, and sometimes they do, I guess, and sometimes they create a reaction in someone that I didn't necessarily plan, or that it actually is the idea that I'm trying to get across. You know, work is very subjective, and work, I mean, like dance, or preference, or opinion about work, like culture, like art, or art in general. You know, it's so subjective, because it's a personal experience, personal perspective, personal thing. But there is something about getting into the studio for me, and allowing myself to respond to the ideas, or channeling to the ideas, channeling information. And I literally mean channeling information. And sometimes I make decisions from that, and I really love doing that. And sometimes they can be crazy ideas, and if I'm feeling vulnerable, I have to feel vulnerable to go with those ideas, because at that time, they don't really make sense, you know, always. And sometimes in hindsight, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But that is also so irrelevant for me. So it's like, you know, when you see a work by Maurice Causey, you don't really know what to expect. And I think that I don't know what to expect either. I make a choice to follow an idea. I make a choice to not follow an idea, and realizing that creativity is also intuitive. And I have many tricks up my sleeve. I can create movement all day. So if I get into a studio and I'm hired to make a work, and I just create movement all day, and without any kind of well, would there be an idea? Without any kind of motive. Only the motive would be to create something at that moment. But sometimes amazing ideas come through me and filter through me, and I channel these ideas. And there's this great book right here. It's called The Magic. Big Magic, and it's by Elizabeth Gilbert. And I think it's one of the most amazing. It's called A Creative Living Beyond Fear. And what is basically, she wrote Eat, Pray, Love. And Eat, Pray, Love was become a movie or whatever. But she wrote this book because the interesting thing about her is that she wrote a best-selling book. Like, it sold, I don't know how many millions and millions of copies, and overnight she became like this big success. And then I think she wrote this book afterwards. Like, the thing is that people were often saying to her, because you know, when you sell a product, you are labeled right away. Like, if it is a success, oh my gosh. I just want to get all this out of there. If it is a success, then people expect that from you again. And you know, a lot of people were saying to her, like, are you afraid that your next book is not going to be a success or anything? Anyway, basically this book is about the big magic and creating it intuitively. And she suggests some people in this book that have influenced her in the past, and poets and writers and everything. But it's great for creative people because it's about creative living beyond fear. So, like, you know, creating for me is like creating. Sometimes I have an idea, sometimes I don't have an idea, but I have no need for acceptance. And sometimes that's intimidating to people, and sometimes that is like they don't get that because it thinks that you know, perhaps they're labeling that you are not serious, or that you're not, that you should have it all planned out before you get into the studio. Well, I've never really been able to do that. I think in general I have ideas that come from other ideas and music and all kinds of things, but I think that this book gave me permission to not be concerned about any fame or any kind of, you know, even like I'm even to the point where it's like I make good work and I like the work that I make. Not everyone thinks that, and I mentioned the other day about being an underdog, and I do feel like that. The reason I do is because in big main houses, like in my profession of the houses or the opera houses or the theaters, you know, that hire people, some of like the best people that I worked for under as a dancer or a rehearsal director or ballet master, I'm not chosen to create in those houses. And you know, that used to bother me a lot, and I don't know why, but I made the decision that, you know, work is work, teaching is teaching, everything's on the same level, no one is superior than the other, and this is the best and this is the worst. It's all labeling and stuff like that, and if any of that got in my way, I would not be sitting here talking to you on this camera, because I don't really, like I said before, out of all due respect, I don't give a fuck about any kind of response. And I know that that sounds like that I'm not serious, but I'm actually really, really super serious, and I'm not here to defend myself. Super serious about that idea of myself, and that I do not need to create for other people, or nor do I am concerned about what other people think, or that you get my work, or that I'm saying something that's profound. I may say something that really touches your heart, and I may say something that is so abstract that you just can't get it, that makes you feel uncomfortable. So I've done something wrong as a creator. So, but anyway, I have a lot of opportunity to create work all over the world, and I do, and I have wonderful experiences, and I always have to say that they're beautiful experiences. So I am very passionate about my life, my work, my dance in general, people, creativity, new things. Sometimes I feel really stupid, like I don't have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm admitting that more and more out loud. And you're here with me doing that. I have made experimental workshops, and what you are going to get is something authentic from Maurice Causey. So I can tell you right now, so it doesn't matter if you get it or not get it. It's like, I don't know what's going to transpire. And I realized that this book, The Big Magic, is so interesting. And it's really, again, about vulnerability, because I am Causey the Valiant, and I'm being so vulnerable, and more being vulnerable is so cool. Like, I just can't express it enough. Like, being vulnerable and just realizing that your truth is everything. And like, you know, it's like, I don't know, it's perhaps saying selfish, but you know what? It's like you get to decide what is selfish. And I'm selfish because I love that, and I'm loving my experience here on this planet Earth, and I have opportunities, and you know, and if I blow those opportunities because I stayed authentic to myself, then I would just blow them, I think. And so I often say sometimes that, you know, if I had to, like, what is the worst job in the world? I don't even know what the worst job is in the world. Is that to even compare? It doesn't even matter. And I know I've said that before, but it doesn't really matter, because I don't really give a fuck. But the fact that I have opportunities to create, and I create from my authentic self, from my heart, and there's always care, and sometimes I win, sometimes I lose, and you know, I don't know, I've never been on top, so and I don't really care about that. But I don't know, I love what I do, and I love the experience. And thank you so much, Elizabeth Gilbert, because if you're ever feeling down as a creator, or that you feel like you're so vulnerable and it's so scary and that people hate you and people are not gonna like you and all of this stuff, realize that there are thousands of us out there, and thousands of people, and people are gonna want you to grow up and just, you know, take it. But just admit it out loud, and you have a friend in me. This book The Big Magic is amazing, and it'll teach you not to give a fuck, basically, and for you to continue to have the creative living beyond your fears, and everything will fall into place. And just be honest, be true to yourself, and that's why I'm here, and be persistent. And yeah, you know, ideas will come, ideas will go. Don't worry about the outcome. Don't try to please. I'm just here to say that. So thank you again for watching me, and I can't wait to put on my wig. You know, I have a wig, but I just can't get it fitting on my head right. You know what I mean? And I want to lip sync, and I want to do something really gay and outrageous, because every time I do that, it gives me power. It gives me power to be here with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. And thank you so much. I look so much forward to Newport with whatever I create. And if Damian Simon is watching this video, the composer that he's the third composer that is it the third? I think the third composer that I've been able to work with. Some big names. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I love you, and I think you're so amazing. Thank you for watching me. Bye. Bye-bye.